What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Wizards Latest. I'm your host, Ben Robertson. And first off, guys, you know the drill. Hit that like button, drop all of those comments down below as you watch along. Of course, make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. Episodes coming your way every single weekday. And let's jump right in here today. Why don't we? Yesterday, we're chatting about how the NBA world, NBA Twitter, kind of got fooled by this Russell Westbrook rumor, right? We were hearing he's going to sign in Israel. And now, today, we hear not a rumor. I guess it was really a little bit after yesterday's episode came out, but not a rumor. Very real news. Russell Westbrook retiring from the league. First of all, huge congrats to him, one-time Wizard, and of course, longtime NBA legend. 18 years in the league, nine-time All-Star, nine-time All NBA guy, former MVP, and of course, averaged a triple-double 4 of 5 years at one point in his career. That fifth year, right? The fifth season in that stretch with the Wizards, the 2021 season. Remember, help pull them into the playoffs that year. Huge congrats again to Russell Westbrook. And you have to imagine, just congrats on his full career and what he's been able to do. I have to imagine he hears kind of he's hearing, yeah, I'm gonna sign in Israel, whether it's a rumor, a real rumor, or it turns out kind of just I think it came from a parody account, that report. I have to imagine he's kind of seeing this and going, yeah, you know what? I'm good. Outside of a title, there's nothing less left for me to prove in the NBA. And you know what? Even with the championship, like if Russell Westbrook is the fifth or sixth best player on a championship team, does that really change? Does that really change his legacy and who he was as an NBA player? Maybe for some fans it will, but I have to imagine for a guy like that who has accomplished what he has, that doesn't really move the needle for him. So, and by the way, I wanted to just read what he posted. Sometimes you don't even know you've already watched the end. You had to be there, and now it's over. That Russell Westbrook posted that. That was his kind of retirement post. And man, like wow, that hits. There's moments in your life where you go, oh wow, like everything is changing a lot here. Whether it's you're getting a little bit older, whether your circumstances just kind of change. For instance, I think of kind of the area I grew up in, and it's changed a whole bunch, right? Like there's new restaurants, there's new apartment buildings, but there's that one like corner store on the block or something like get that gets torn down, and you go, wow, like things are really changing. Times are really changing. For me, growing up in very much the Russell Westbrook era of basketball, he is one of the stars from my like early childhood through even now. We were talking yesterday, his name when it's a seems like a false report, but still gets the NBA world just kind of buzzing. Changing of an era, changing of a guard, I guess you could say, here with this Russell Westbrook retirement. Kind of hit home, especially reading that post from him for me. But here's what makes this even more interesting as a Wizards fan. We have discussed, could Westbrook possibly, at his kind of veteran stage now, and obviously this is no longer on the table, but what it sounds like, at least from some of these reports, is that what we were discussing, and could he be the final roster spot, was actually kind of legitimate. The thing is, I'm not sure if I'm actually buying that. I'm actually believing that there was an offer for Russell Westbrook, as we are hearing in these reports from the Wizards to be that final roster spot, because reportedly it's Sacramento and Washington. That came out from, I believe it was Anthony Slater of ESPN when he posted this article on the Russ News. He posted per Shams that there was those two offers, again, from Sacramento and Washington. But if you look at the actual Shams tweet, the actual Shams post about Russell Westbrook, it has nothing, it doesn't mention anything about any sort of offers around the league. Maybe Shams will be on ESPN today and make it one of his appearances to say something about this, but as of now, I haven't actually seen Shams say that there was legit offers for Russell Westbrook from Sacramento or Washington, and now we're kind of getting reports from a whole bunch of outlets that per Shams that was the case, and it kind of makes me go, like, really? Was there an offer? We've chatted about this here for a while this offseason, but we've heard interest in DeMar DeRozan, but not Russell Westbrook from the Wizards. Like, we just haven't heard anything of the sort. A lot of it has just been speculation. And so now that he's retired, you're going to tell me there was an offer? I'm just not sure how much stock I buy in that, to be quite honest. But maybe we'll hear more from Shams here today or as the week progresses. This is a Thursday edition of Wizards Latest. Also, this Thursday, the full NBA schedule will be dropping. We do have little pieces, bits and pieces from this NBA schedule this upcoming year already. What we do, one of those things we already have is the NBA Cup schedule. And look, yesterday we discussed, go check out that episode, how Washington is going to compare, at least how I kind of expect them to compare. And part of that is sort of just looking on paper with their division rivals. Well, I want to take a look at the NBA Cup schedule as well. And remember, the Wizards have only won one NBA Cup game ever. Finally got that victory last year, last season. Finally got that first NBA Cup win. But this is feels like a much different year. Obviously, new faces: Trey Young, Anthony Davis, AJ DeBonsa. Throw all those guys in the mix, and then also the guys that were here already are going to get to be in an environment where, again, they're actually trying to win games. We talked about all last year the need to essentially tank to hold on to your draft pick, and that draft pick turns into AJ DeBonsa. So, two division rivals here on the NBA Cup schedule. If you just look at it, Charlotte and Atlanta, and then you have Chicago and Boston there on the slate. That Wizards versus Hornets matchup will actually be the very first tip off for NBA Cup games across the league. There will be other games on October 30th, but the Wizards versus Hornets will be the very first start time. It's a 7 p.m. matchup. Everything else gets started, at least on the schedule right now, a half hour later. And I would really like, I realize that the teams, it's been what, Lakers, Bucks, and Knicks, and obviously Knicks are very much in the category I'm talking about. I realize the teams that have won the cup have kind of been considered like legit contenders, right, the last few years, but I would like the Wizards to actually do, I think, what the NBA kind of intended with this NBA Cup and give maybe like an up and coming team on the rise a chance to kind of go win something during the season and kind of put a feather in their cap. I would like the Wizards, and I realize they're sort of just baked in to the regular season matchups, but to really focus on those NBA Cup games. Go finish. Like, that's a very much a group you can compete in. Go finish in the top two. Go finish. Take care of your business against right. Don't go take care of business against Charlotte. Go take care of business against Atlanta and Chicago. Obviously, Boston. People might be sleeping on them a little bit this year, and we never love the Celtics down here in DC. But let's be real, that team is always going to be pretty good in the Eastern Conference, right? So obviously that's going to always be a tough task, but don't go take care of your business in those other games, finish in the top two, get in the knockout stages. And I realize this team and this franchise, and even as fans, we're looking for like a legit long-term building, contender that's in the playoffs year in and year out. But to me, that would be, especially with the just lack of success, right, in this NBA Cup event so far. That to me would be an awesome step just for the regular season of, hey, things are kind of moving in the right direction. Let's jump just quickly into the comment section here today, you guys. It's a pretty quick episode. I'll try to get back to a couple of these. Live Ride 59 says, thanks, because we were chatting about this yesterday. We were talking about the Southeast Division just a little bit. And let's check out what you have to say here today, because we really just ran through yesterday's show. Like, we talked about that Russ rumor, everybody kind of getting fooled, and then we talked about really just the division rivals throughout yesterday's show. You say we think we can go 3-1 against Miami, Charlotte, or Orlando, 2-2 against Atlanta. But either way, we're 11-5 in our 16 games. Once the full NBA schedule is released, we can estimate our games against other divisions: Atlantic, Central, Northwest, Pacific, and Southwest. Before you know it, we'll be drafting our fantasy basketball teams. I like that division, like that idea, kind of rolling through some of the division comparisons, and I think we will kind of keep going with that. Tomorrow, we're going to take a look at that full NBA schedule. I think 3 p.m. Eastern time is when that drops today. So tomorrow we'll definitely be checking out that full NBA schedule. Make sure you're tuned in. A couple comments. Delmar Tripp. I think you're referencing Bull Bull. I don't really think the Wizards. I don't even know where he's at right now, but I don't think the Wizards have any interest there. A couple people commenting on Tristan Vukcevic. Robert Walker, you say no disrespect to him, and Dante Payne kind of echoes some of your sentiments. I think as where he's at, right? You have Sar, AD, Aiton in front of you. I mean, he's just going to have to compete really, really hard to get himself on the court. I do think with Sar and AD, I mean, Sar coming off of injury, I realize it's only been 2 years, but he's coming off of injury this offseason. AD, it's always going to be Just you're always trying to keep him healthy at this point in his career. I do think there's going to be some opportunities for Tristan Vucevic, but like Robert Walker is saying, he is going to have to prove he can be that physical presence inside. He can go do the dirty work. I say about him all the time to kind of carve out that role as a backup big man in the league because there's so much offensive talent with him. But sometimes when you're the backup big, the offensive talent. I mean, think about the Wizards' second round draft pick this year, Felix Okpara. There's really no offensive talent there. No disrespect to him. He's way better at basketball than I am, whatever. But, guys, in, comparison to the NBA, there's not a whole bunch of offensive talent there. But the Wizards think with his rim running ability, with his rebounding, he could be an NBA guy. And that's why you see him get drafted. So for me, that's what's going to kind of be the determining factor for Vucevic, his career, as talented as he is. It's going to wrap up our show here today, guys. Appreciate all your support here on the page. Make sure you drop all those comments, hit that like button, make sure you're subscribed as well. And thanks for watching another episode of Wizards Latest.